Aviva Goldfarb with the 6 o'clock scramble, and my goal is to make it easier for you to get healthy dinners on the table quickly. So today I'm going to talk to you about what to do when you run out of breadcrumbs and you need them for a recipe. Last week I was making some salmon cakes and I wanted to use some breadcrumbs, and I realized not only did I have no breadcrumbs, I didn't even have any bread to make breadcrumbs. So I started to think about all the different things I could use, and I came up with a solution. And I want to share actually 6 different things that you can use. And if you go on over to the blog, you'll actually see 10 different substitutes you can use if you run out of breadcrumbs. Some of them are gluten-free, which is great for some of you too. So the first one that's the simplest, if you do have bread. And so what I did is I toasted this piece of bread and I let it cool. And then what you do is you just rip it, and this is my mini food processor, which I love because sometimes I don't want to take out my big food processor for mini jobs. If you want to, you can add some Italian spices if you want Italian breadcrumbs. I'm not going to do that in this case. And you put on the top, which I've lost, here it is. Usually you're going to be surprised how small this gets. So you might have to use 1 or 2 pieces of toast, depending on how much. This will probably end up being about a 1/4 cup. Let's see. We're almost there. So now you can see that I have some nice coarse breadcrumbs here. I think it works better when it's toasted. You could always add some Parmesan cheese for more flavor too. But if you want them more fine, you can obviously grind them some more. Okay, so some other possibilities to use are you can actually just use oats and grind them up in a food processor too. Some people can do it in their blender too. You can use nuts. If you don't already have nut meal, you can use nuts. You can use crackers. I would want to use whole grain crackers like this, but whatever you have. You can even use potato chips, pita chips. You can use coconut, shredded coconut. Of course, the kind without added sugar would be the kind that I would go for. But what I did last week, I was very proud of myself for coming up with this, was I used a cereal, a whole grain cereal that has very little sugar in it, called Heritage Grains. I really like this cereal. And so you want at least twice as much, probably over twice as much as the amount of breadcrumbs that you're ultimately going to need. Cereal crumbs in this case. And the same thing, you're going to grind them up. And just to show you, I did this earlier. This was a little over 1/2 cup. So the same thing, you're going to put them in your food processor. And these are actually a little easier than breadcrumbs to grind up because they're already so dry, which is nice. So you can get as coarse as you want. You can add spices in there if you want, but they worked perfectly in the salmon cakes. So those are some options. It's great to be creative when you don't have something. Hopefully we plan our meals and we have the ingredients, but sometimes even I realize I'm missing something essential to a recipe, and there are ways to kind of come up with substitutions that can work. So thanks again. I'm Aviva Goldfarb with the 6 o'clock scramble, and for more ideas, check out the 6o'clockscramble.com on the blog.